Well, today, coming at you live with your boy Big Buck, and it's your boy Nick KLEP. What am, cuz?
What happened, big dog? It's good to be here.
Oh, yes, indeed. We glad to have Nick KLEP up in the thing. Pike County finest, you heard me? He's throwing it up to the 601 to the 985 today. Man, Nick, how you been, bro?
I've been doing good.
Been doing good?
Especially the last, 2 months.
Yeah.
I've been just living.
Yeah.
I've been just doing my best.
Yeah, that's all we can do.
Absolutely. And so before me being doing good, it's been rough moving from the country to a town, you know?
Man, it's a whole new world. About
new world.
About like Aladdin's magic carpet ride. A whole new world.
Drop me off middle of nowhere.
Everybody, we used to all them chicken farm animals and everything, but now we up in this big old city, Hattiesburg, and it really ain't even that big. It's just something new that you ain't used to, you know, because each and every day, like, you hearing way more traffic than you normally do. You ain't waking up and smelling chicken shit. And you ain't seeing old Jimmy Ray Strickland on the tractor. So it's something different, you know?
Yeah, for real.
Well, man, you know, I've been doing this podcast since probably about, I think we've been rocking together about 2018. What y'all think? Something about like that, huh, y'all? And get that out the way. Sorry about that, y'all.
Oh, you're trying to hide.
Nah, the people got you now.
Yeah.
But no, what you been doing, man? Besides me doing the podcast, man. Let me hear about you. What's been going on in your world?
So, we both went to Southwest about the same time, and so we talk about that in a minute. But between leaving Summit and moving here, I was thinking about starting music therapy at William Carey.
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's 4 more years. And then I come to find out it was still 3 more years for music education, so to be a band director. And also the job to graduate ratio in Mississippi is super low. And so I wouldn't have got a job in Mississippi, no way. And so I ended up meeting my fiance about 2 years ago, right when I left Southwest.
Oh, Southwest, where it's easy.
Yeah, nice and breezy. And when I left Southwest, right when COVID hit, they sent us home. I was doing like this music theory boot camp, and so I was just getting tons of information thrown at me. I was also working out really hard at the time with Kyle Dorr. Oh man, old doorknob, man, we were rolling. And my health was good. Life was grand. I didn't have to see anybody anymore. I could go chill at the house, play video games, go to the gym when I wanted to. And I just met this girl, and then they locked down the country. And I'm like, oh no. It's 2 weeks into lockdown, right? I'm sitting at her house, and I hear her sister coughing. She's coughing. Is she good? And she went to check on her. She said, let's go get her tested. Mama got COVID. Jaden got COVID. Jenna don't have COVID. She the only one showing symptoms.
Everybody got COVID, but she the only one showing symptoms.
And I didn't have it. I tested.
You was in the house.
I was clear. I was sitting in the house.
You been in the house for 2 weeks and you ain't had it.
Didn't have it. For 2 weeks I sat there, did not have it. I got in my car, started driving to Mama and Daddy's house.
Right.
I got a phone call. Nick, don't come home. Why? We all got COVID. I spent almost a full month at my fiance's house. Just chilling, eating their food, sleeping up on their couch.
Right.
Just chilling.
Living the best life.
Oh, man.
Living life like it's golden, he said. Man, that's crazy because during that whole time, like you say, we've known each other since Southwest, man. Yeah. And we're going to get to that. We're going to talk about Southwest.
You come to Park Lane games.
Yeah, I'd come
That's where I met you.
That's how it really started. Big Buck started hanging out with them PA folks. Oh, they corrupted him. Hey, what was that principal's name? He didn't like Big Buck dancing up on that stage.
Mr. Jack Henderson.
Yeah, Jack Henderson. He didn't like Big Buck breaking it down. And y'all know Big Buck like to break it down. Shoot. But yeah, I started going. When me and Nick first met, it was like going to Park Lane games, baseball, football, whatever, you know. We was always hitting each other up, always trying to see each other as much as we could because besides Southwest, we knew old Christy Case. We both knew old Christy Case. BC's mama. We knew old BC's mama. Yeah. And I tell you, Christy, she talked so fondly of you. Way before I even met you, she was like, do you know a guy named Nick KLEP? And I was like, no, ma'am. She was like, well, when you get to Southwest, you're probably going to meet him. He's just so neat. Yeah. He's a great guy. He loves to sing. And I was like, really? I don't know how I haven't met him. And when we finally met, I was like, you're Nick KLEP. Oh my gosh. I was like, And then I literally, like, the first thing I did right when I went back to Kentwood was go to Christy's house, and I was just like, guess who I met? She said, who? Nick. She said, oh my gosh, what? I said, yep, I met Big Nick.
Yeah, oh yeah. She's a hoot.
She is a hoot.
But then I found Jaden's family, my fiance's family. They're all from Chicago.
Oh, Chirac.
Oh yeah.
They from Chi-Town. Big Buck been there one time. Oh Lord.
One time? You been there one time too?
I've been there one time.
I walked everywhere and I hated it. I tried to jump into my truck. I was like, I just ride with you.
You just ride with you. Man, I tell you, look, donuts up there are expensive.
Dude, the pizza's expensive. It's
Everything.
like that thick. It's a whole pie.
It ain't like Fat Boy's pizza. It ain't those big old slices what we talking about.
Mm-mm.
Chicago, New York, all them big old cities, they gonna give you the tiniest slice, but gonna cost you the most.
Absolutely, man.
It don't make no sense.
Mm-mm.
It don't make a lick of sense.
And I'll tell you what, I ate at a place, I'm getting so sidetracked so early.
Oh, it's all right. We can just...
I ate at Maggiano's.
Is that a pizza parlor?
No, it is a 1920s, like, mafia, like, bar and, like, family restaurant.
Okay.
So everywhere else is, like, restaurant. And then in the center of the place, it's all wood. I want you to just, in your mind, picture, like, a mafia, like, speakeasy bar.
Okay.
Okay? It looks just like that. At Maggiano's, I think it's like Little Italy or something like that. And it's kind of franchised, but it's only in like certain areas. And this place is like the real deal, dude. And I spent like $78, $85 somewhere in there. That was appetizers, 2-course meal, dessert, a couple drinks. Like, dude, it was. I've never like been completely full. I did not eat that second course or the dessert.
Come on.
I got homemade like lasagna. Jaden had some like, by the way, do you know like fettuccine alfredo and chicken alfredo is like not a thing.
You talking about like
it's not an Italian thing.
Oh,
there's a couple of them that aren't Italian at all.
It's probably something Americanized. That's what it
exactly.
is.
Yeah, like when I looked at the menu, wasn't even on there. I was like, well.
Somebody once told me, they didn't tell me that. They were just like, I was asking them what their favorite food was. Yeah. And sure enough, they were like Italian food or American food. And I was like, no, they said American food. And I was like, well, can you tell me what American food is? They was like, food in America. I said, well, if you haven't noticed, America is the melting pot. Exactly. There's different cultures and ethnicities that's came all over. So basically, American food is Italian food, is Polish food, everything, because everybody has it in America. I wouldn't say America has their own little food. It's just a whole big cultural diversity pot of food and mixes and matches. But it's something probably Americanized.
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean, it's delicious, but hey, it's something that somebody come up with, like, oh, we're gonna make this, and it ain't nothing like the true thing, though.
No.
It ain't never nothing. I got some shout out to Oak Forest, that senior class. They out there. They up in Europe right now. That's all. They over there. We Paris, France, and they up in Milan, Italy. They doing it all. I said, dang, y'all lucky. They showing up. I
went to private school. Where my trip at?
That's what I'm saying. I went to public school. I just want to go. I told them, put me in your luggage. I'll find a way back home. I'll find a way back home. But who knows? Big Buck turned French. He might be good. I know. Oh, shout out to Antoine. He over there. Mm-hmm. Well, man. Oh man. I say it's on the podcast, man. It's anything and everything. We talk about everything. As y'all to notice, we just jumped like 3 different side topics, but
it's fine. I love coming full circle though. Because like ADHD for me it's very linear. So like if we start on something and then we get to the end of something, the in between I'm probably not going to come back to. But I love coming back to that starting point. Just the first one. Right. But I mean, this episode really could just be about life. Exactly. That's really what it is. The title of this episode will be Life. Well, let me tell you, you said it. The whole house had COVID except you. You was there for a whole 2 weeks and you never got it. Man, I tell you, I caught COVID probably, like I said, around the same time, about 2020. And I think Assassin's Creed Odyssey had like just come out. I had just got it. And so I'm like binge watching. I'm binge playing. Like I've been playing all that. And I was working at this place called Channel Control Merchants. It's like a dirt cheap warehouse at the time.
man, I was driving.
Did you just say dirt cheap warehouse?
Yeah. It's like a dirt cheap treasure hunt. Yeah, but it was
Where's
called
my invite at? Like, that sounds dope. My bad. I'm so sorry.
Y'all, you wouldn't have wanted to work there. Nobody would have wanted to work there. Big Buck did. It was bad, bro. It was bad. Oh. 8 1/4.
Never mind. It's
8 1/4. In 2020, y'all complaining about working at Sonic for $4.50 for being a car hop.
Lord.
You're Lord, yes indeed. Don't want to go back. They were nice people, very nice people, but no, just the pay was not it, man.
It wasn't it, Chief.
It wasn't it. It was not. It was paying the bills, but like Big Buck done worked a long time. I done told y'all that in the co-op podcast. Big Buck done had tons of jobs, but to make 8 1/4 in the year 2020, that ain't coming.
Ain't happening.
It ain't happening. And I mean, y'all know how gas is rising now. Oof, ain't no way I could have done it now. But no, man, what had happened was I was driving a forklift there, and sure enough, I would get there probably like 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning, and because sometimes my schedules would change, so it'd be 6 in the morning, or sometimes it'd be 6:30, just depending on what schedule it was that day. Sure enough, bro, I would get up. I was really unloading trailers more than I was loading trailers. And so basically what we would do, we're just taking all the trash off of the trailers from other stores. And so the stores would put the trash out for like, say if they had like furniture sets, toys, candy, all that type of stuff that you would see in a treasure hunt or dirt cheap, they took all that plastic and all that little broken down paper and whatnot, put it back on the trailers. So we was having to unload all that, and we was taking it to our recycling team. So sure enough, one day I'm just hearing this, I'm feeling this throbbing in my head, and I was like, oh, it's probably just because I probably was out late last night before, with some friends, whatnot, and just beep 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 from the forklift back going in reverse so much, and it was like 4 people doing it all simultaneously. So I was like, that's probably just a whole echo. Right. Sure enough, that was not the case, because I would go home, take some ibuprofen, and I'm a big guy. I take like 1,500 milligrams. Because it was 500 milligrams a piece, so I took 1,500 milligrams. So I was like, knock this headache away. So sure enough,
knock everything away.
So sure enough, I took that much. I took that much, and sure enough, I felt good. Well, when I went back to work the next day, beep, 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 it's just throbbing in my head, and I smelled this weird smell in my nose. And so I'm thinking that like maybe my apartment's dirty, nasty, but I was like, I literally just vacuumed like the week before. I mopped literally that Sunday, and I'm just like, what's going on? So I re-mopped, had the pine sol smell, lemony fresh smell all in my house, and it just smelled like the word sick. If y'all know what the word sick is, just think about how that smells. It was disgusting, bro. It was nasty. And I ended up going to work for a whole week with COVID. And the crazy thing is that they checked our temperature. They checked our temperature every single day when we got in, and we had to go through a metal detector. To make sure that nobody was stealing stuff like jewelry, earrings, iPhones, blah, blah, blah. And so we checked our temperature, went through a metal detector, and my temperature was fine for that whole week until that Monday I went to USM's, Moffitt Health Center, and sure enough, that baby, she was like, baby, you got COVID. Your temperature 101. I was like, girl, it's been like 90, 97 something or whatever the whole other time. I don't know what to tell you. I've been living good. Sure enough, I had COVID. And then, Super David had to come to the rescue, him and Noah and Christian. They had to come and give me some chicken noodle soup and all types of other medicines and stuff like that. Well, I tell you, it was rough, but hey, I did get to beat Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I did get to beat that. I was home for 2 weeks getting paid. I did get to play games.
That's what I'm talking about. That's always positive on that one.
It was a positive, but like I said, that was the only thing with me with COVID, man. It was just the headache and the smell. And they gave me, USM gave me some little medicine, little antibiotics, and it wasn't bad, but I think probably by that first Thursday, it was over. Yeah. It was over. And I was just like, but it affects everybody so differently. That was the crazy thing.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I know people back in Kentwood that still say that they can't smell. I say, can't smell? How you live in Louisiana and you can't smell?
Exactly.
That sucks. And this,
unless you live in Bogalusa, that's a blessing.
Oh, not the bowl. Boy, if you living in Bogalusa, you just got to get out. That paper mill stank. They're like a skunk.
Stank. It stank all in Columbia. What are you talking? I'm riding to Columbia with my window down. Roll them up.
Look, everybody be
black ice on put the black ice up on the thing. I can't do it, man.
Everybody at my job, I work at this new job now called Berry Global. We make plastic caps. And sure enough, people that live over there around Poplarville, they be saying, man, I can smell Bogalusa from I said, no, you smelling Bogalusa? They say, we smell Bogalusa. And y'all just know. The Bogue. The stanky city. Oh man,
you got some good people down there though.
Yeah, that is one thing. Like it's a stanky city, but it's good people.
They're trying to rope you in. They're trying to pull you in. They're like, come stay with us.
Right. It's something in the water.
Something in the water.
What it is the watermelon. Them Washington Parish watermelon.
Yeah.
Boy, them Washington Parish. No, that's the only thing. That and the fair. That's that and the fair. You go down there.
Tell you what, man, they got food down there so good. If you set it on top of your head, your tongue beat your brains out trying to get to it. Oh my goodness! You came the chicken on a stick.
Man, one of my coworkers told me the other day over there in Bogalusa, they got some little fish market, $2.49 a pound for some fried catfish. I said I might have to take a trip over to Bogalusa to get some catfish.
Gas price is worth it at that point.
Yeah, for $2.49 a pound for some fried catfish.
So we running an ad right now.
Shit, boy, I'm telling you, Big Buck gonna have to have a fish fry. Y'all come on by and get a plate. Oh, yes indeed. Well, man, tell me, you mentioned your fiance. Man, where did y'all initially meet at?
So, of course, people who know me, they know that I sing. That I post all over my stuff. But I've been singing in a Southern Gospel group since 2017, since I got to Southwest. Well, I met her singing at North Jackson Street Methodist Church.
Okay.
Or just Jackson Street Methodist. But it's on North Jackson Street in Willckelvin.
In Willckelvin.
In Willckelvin.
In the brook.
I think this was either the first or second time of us singing there. And I'm sitting there, and in the back of the church, I see like 3 or 4 ladies. I think 4. Yeah, it was all 4 of them. 4 or 5, whatever. They came in the back, and I got to have far-sighted in my left and near-sighted in my right. My prescriptions are just 2 different prescriptions in the same set of glasses. And so if I'm looking at something that's too far away, like that poster right there, I'd probably use my left eye a little more, and I'm going to close this one a little bit and focus.
Right.
And if it's too, like I can't see that sign right now with my right eye, but with my left eye I can read it just perfectly fine. And so I was doing that on stage. I'm like, who is that? And I was like, all right, whatever. It don't matter. But then they came and sat down by halfway, Messages. They won't sit in the back or the front.
They sit in the middle.
Right there in the
That's
middle.
why I start with the M, middle.
Yeah.
Middle Methodist.
Yeah, so they sit right there in the middle. And I can see one of them start turning red. And I'm like, what? Because I'm awful facial recognition. If you in the mall while I'm working there and you're like, hey, Nick, you better enunciate what your name is because I have no idea who you are until you get about 20 feet from me. So I'm not kidding. And so she's back there, and it's her and her mama, either her sister, her mama, and her, or the opposite way around. They're all sitting there, and I can see you tapping.
Right.
Tapping,
He's cute.
What's she doing? And we got another singing one. I'm sitting here sweating, I got that monkey suit on, and I'm cutting down, and I'm like, all right, cool. And I look up, and they're all 3 laughing, but her. And I'm like, oh. Like, all right, cool. I didn't say anything. I don't ever approach anybody, because although I do a very public job, I'm very introverted sometimes. I don't want to press my first impression on somebody. I want them to come to me. And then once they come to me and invite me in that personal space of talking and sharing with one another, I will then engage on, hey, how are you? Thank you so much for coming tonight. It was a blessing for us to be here. When are you coming back? This and that. Like, we'll exchange all those pleasantries. And I didn't get any of that from any of them. Not one of them spoke to me. I think I saw Dawn, her mama, just saying, great job. And while she was talking to Trevor is the bass singer for the group. They've known Trevor like their whole lives.
Right.
And so I get a text next day. And it's like, hey, either this girl wants your number or just whatever is how it was presented to me.
Right.
What really happened was Dawn was my fiance's mama, and Jane, Trevor, my boss man's mama, best friends.
Oh, okay. So
Jane was like, I think Jane should talk to Nick. Dawn's like, I think that too. And then Mama gave Mama the number. Mama sent it to my best friend, and then the best friend sent it to me.
You heard what he said. He said Mama gave Mama the other number. So that's how it always started. The Mama's always incorporated.
And then my mama met her the first time and was like, "You're marrying that woman." And I'm like, "Whoa.
You ain't met. You met her one time.
We been talking like a month or so. I just brought her over, and she's like, "You get married to her." And I don't think it took another year and a half. And I was like, "Yeah, I'm getting married to her."
Sign, seal, deliver. Stevie Wonder, I'm yours.
I just played at my wedding, big dog.
Come on,
as
man.
soon as you said I do,
I got it.
Seal, delivered.
I'm yours, man.
Come on.
That wasn't gonna be.
Oh, it's gonna be lit. You at the highway, bro, at the Regent State.
Yeah, I was there at. Look, Noah Martin. He does a lot of videography and photography as well as our good friend Caleb Bird.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Bird flying over New York City.
Caleb Bird.
Yeah, he up in New York City now.
Like from Parkland Caleb Bird or
no.
Southwest Caleb Bird.
Southwest Caleb Bird.
But that Caleb Bird country and all.
No.
I don't want to run that camera. Like I love that dude. He country.
If that country Caleb Bird moved to New York City, he must have country no more.
He live in the North New York. Is he in New York?
No,
dude. Upstate New York. 1, expensive. 2, beautiful. Now the soul's up there. All the rich people bought all of it and put like one house per like 5,000 acres.
Shut up.
I ain't kidding. It's as if you took every house in Amite County and made it worth $1 million. I ain't even kidding. It's just like that. It's just spread out, a nice bunch of land.
Right.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, we love that land, but it's just so high.
Mm-hmm.
That's the bad thing. But no,
Caleb Bird, yeah, he's up there doing photography in New York.
Yeah, he is. I don't know the name of his little company, but that he's working for. But hey, it's pretty good. And I said little company, but it's not little. I mean, it's a big company. It's a big franchise. They ain't nothing little over there. Not even Little Italy. Not even Little Italy. But no, that you had mentioned the Hideaway, Reed's estate. Man, I've been there tons of times, but I know he's told me tons of times where he shot weddings there. And I went there this past year for my friend Dylan Martin and his girlfriend, his now wife, my bad.
That's where you went to.
Yeah, Dylan Martin.
I saw some Snapchats of you.
Yeah, it was Dylan
I don't
Martin.
think you sent them to me.
It was Dylan Martin and Mary Martin now, because I can't remember her maiden name because it's drawing a blank from me. But it was a very beautiful wedding there. And I mean, it's a very beautiful place. Oh, yeah. That was my first time, man, and I'd love to go back, and I plan on going back.
I can't wait. Yeah, I hope you come.
We gonna boogie down.
Yeah.
Blame it on the boogie.
Yes, sir. I love that song.
See, me and Nick, we both love some music.
Oh, yeah.
Man, this man, he can do, what is that, the Halo intro?
Oh, man, yes.
Outside of Southwest dorms doing it. And people like, Nick, you are a god.
Cutting up to it. It wasn't no like quiet. I was just like cutting up.
Doing it big.
Man. We went to Nail Benders up in Alexandria, Indiana, building that church. Mm-hmm. And there was Randall's, all the like Magnolia First Baptist crew.
Right.
It was all them cats, like Tanner Johnson when he was a little younger. Oh Lord, who all was there? I can't name everybody, so I apologize if anybody's watching this. I remember Sammy was there, Randall, my brother, some of the younger cats, Callie Snow, like Thad Snow. I think even Luke went that year.
Oh, Thad.
Oh, dude. I ain't talked to that cat in a while.
Thad Snow. Oh, that's a whole nother story.
Oh, Lord. I stood up on a ladder, and I mean, it's about, 85, 90 degrees up in, because, it stays nice and breezy up there.
Right.
Especially out in them cornfields and whatnot. So we're up in the attic, and if I work chicken farms, anything about chicken farms, where the insulation is, that hot air will get up there and just stay.
Right.
Because it's nice and humid, it's nice and hot, it'll stay up there in the rafters. So I'm up there trying to get measurements for sheetrock and lay overlays so they know where to put the holes at for the lighting fixtures. And so not too hard. I was just, just taking measurements. That way they knew where to cut the hole while it was on the ground, so they didn't have to do it up in the air.
Right.
And I held a light out of my hand, and I was just silent to myself. They had no idea that about to come in. And so I'm sitting there, and amongst about 100-something workers, I started singing the Halo theme song. And everybody in unison stopped and just turned around. And on the hour of every hour, and I do mean every hour, including those times we were sleeping, I had to sing the opening theme to Halo, the game.
Well, for some of our viewers that don't know the opening, could you do it for us?
Dude, I have no idea. I couldn't do it. I'd kill that mic.
Come on
Can
now.
we play it, or can I?
Come on, we want to hear that natural sound from Nick. Look, this man is talented. I'm telling you, man. Y'all gotta check him out. Not just because of this podcast, right, but he also is a part of a quartet called For the King, correct?
For the King.
For the King, and that's what it's all about. It's for Lord King Jesus. Mm-hmm. Man, y'all been together for what?
September makes 5 years.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's been probably about since Southwest that y'all kind of got that started.
Yes, sir. We started September of 2017. So okay. I got there in July because of band camp. And Trevor Davis, he's still our bass singer, still our leader. He texted me. And Branson Blanton and Evan Busman, we were in it. And oh my goodness, did we suck. It was bad. I wasn't confident in my singing. One or two of them were. And I don't think one or two of us wanted to be there. It was just, if it was up to us, that thing wouldn't have left the ground.
Come on now.
No, I'm not kidding, dude. And we owe it all, first of all, to God that even made it. And second of all, that God sent a few people. And we're like, you know what? Let's just take this little idea that these kids have and make it a dream.
Right.
And it's about 5 or 6 different people. And even if they don't realize it, the things they did might seem small or insignificant, but they just were leaps and bounds on the abilities of those of us that are doing this. And we have some originals. We have about 5 or 6 originals. But July makes 1 year since both Branson and the newer tenant that we had, Trenton, they both left. Branson is now teaching a wonderful choir program out in Texas.
Okay.
And East Texas. And Trenton actually went to the national circuit. He is singing with the Dixie Echoes.
Really?
Around the country, yeah.
Man, okay.
Oh, yeah. Now, we are, over the past 5 years, we've been between Georgia all the way to Texas. So he sang almost the whole Gulf South. We need to sing in Florida, and that would literally be the entire Gulf South.
Y'all got it.
Oh, yeah. And so we've just been working hard, and the main thing was meeting people and learning how to work the logistics end of it. Like our sound equipment now, it's like awesome. Like we filled up, New Heights Baptist out there at Summit, with a little help from their acoustics speakers up in the roof. We filled up that whole room with noise. And now we have a router that helps us on an iPad that Trevor's wife had in the back of the room. From 100-some feet away, she could just change the volume out there in the crowd now. Oh, dude, we're moving on up now.
Moving on up?
Yes, sir.
Through the east side. Moving it on up.
Oh, yeah. So I love learning about that stuff because I was completely ignorant to it, There's different levels. And, stupid is you just don't choose to. You know better and you won't.
Right.
But ignorant, you literally do not know.
You don't know nothing.
Exactly. And I was completely blind to it. And so now that I'm learning all these things, not just in praise and worship, am I having fun and I'm doing good.
Right.
And in a ministry, we're thriving, We're nonprofit. We do not get paid by a check that says, here's your service there. We do love offering strictly. And we have 2 CDs, and third one's coming out pretty soon. That second CD, the whole CD of the second one is on Spotify.
Okay. What's the name of that?
What is the name of it? It's For the King, of course. And I think the album is named, is it Glory Bound? No, that's the first one.
Not Glory Bound in Hattiesburg now.
No.
Don't y'all get excited and go to GB. I know how y'all love some GB.
Yeah, we've just learned so much, and we've done so much, and I've met so many people. And I met some of my absolute heroes, like Jeff and Sherry Easter. I got to meet them not too long ago, and Jay Perrick, and I'm telling, I was going through.
Going through. Okay.
It's For the King, FOUR, the King, going through.
For the King, going through.
It's got a bunch of different songs. Like, they have some originals on there, a couple of them actually. Songs that no one else in the world is sang. And it's like Leave That Legacy, Sunshine, Going Through is an original. Under the Blood. It just has some actual originals. And then also, we're probably the baddest cover band in South Mississippi because we sing just the greatest that we can. And we physically can sing. We try to sing the best that we can. A lot of cathedrals, a lot of Southern gospel stuff. But whenever we're not in front of people, we're not just singing gospel. We'll sing anything that challenges us to be better and
to reach that new height.
Exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with that
at all.
There's nothing wrong with that, man. I'm love. As long as I've known you, man, just you a jack of all trades. There ain't nothing that you can't do through the will of God, man.
Exactly.
I mean, and that, like I say, man, to be a part of a quartet called For the King, that's just giving more glory and honor to him, you know. And like you said, it's a non-profit. Y'all are only doing love offerings, you know. And how you said in the beginning, you might really didn't want to be there. You really wasn't confident in yourself. But now, just like you said, it's almost 5 years.
It saved my life.
See where you are. See where you are
you
now.
It literally saved my life. Because after high school, the girl that I was dating, me and her, it ended, and it wasn't on good terms. It was burnt bridges style stuff. And I was really hurt. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know what to do. And I put a lot of my self-value in her. And I don't regret the relationship at all. I learned a lot of do's and a lot of don'ts. And more importantly, I didn't just learn how I should treat a woman. I learned how I should treat myself. And it was hard. And I made some friends, and I love them. I still love them dearly, even though we don't talk. But if they want to talk to me, I'd be here just like the day we left off.
Right.
And regardless of what they heard or what anybody heard of how our relationship was, I truly die for my brothers, you know. And I love those guys. And I can't wait to see them again. But, you know, I ain't going to give up no names. I ain't giving up nobody's business, you know. And so after that, I started coping with other things. And even after I joined the quartet, I didn't think that things would get off the ground. Between September and December, I was living like I wanted to live. And that included everything you think of. Without incriminating myself, that included everything. It got to the point where I was trying to live how my mama wanted me to in church on Sundays and Wednesdays, and I was like, I wanted to the rest of the week.
Right.
And then the quartet started picking up, and then I started picking up as far as what I was doing. I started making money off that too,
right?
And how we were doing it and stuff like that. I started going to a lot of parties, hanging out with a lot of people, and it was rough. That first year was hard. First time I ever failed a class, ever. It's the last time too, but it's the first time I'd ever failed a class for no reason.
Right. Like they say, it's the first and the last.
Mm-hmm.
First and the last.
If you learn hard enough, you learn good enough, that'll be the last time you learn that lesson.
Right. You ain't got to get no ass whooping no more because life gave it to you.
Yeah, exactly. Quick, fast, in a hurry.
Right. Like they say, hard head make a soft behind.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Because you said, I say that just like you, just to say, you know, that's one of them old country sayings. Because like you said, learned it. You know that. Well, see, what I learned it is, they say, learned it, what's that? That's one of them old country things. I learned it. I learned it back in pre-primer school.
And dude, I'm only a couple hours away from a minor in English, like teaching English. On paper, genius. I'm great. But like when I start talking, I'm like, man, they don't taught me how to go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Well, Lord bless it. And then see, I tell people all the time that you mentioned about almost being an English minor. I'm like, you know, everybody always says, like, you know, Spanish people coming to America. Why Spanish-speaking people coming to America? Why is it that they don't learn English and everything like that? And I was like, well, man, do you understand how hard the process is for them just to become an American citizen as well as to learn the English language? Because there's so many, what you would say, Americans that can't even speak English correctly, and because there's so many words that mean the same thing. I mean, there's 3-4 different ways to say there.
Yeah.
and
each one of them is different.
Right. Differently spelled, everything, different meaning. I mean, and you know, sometimes in just day-to-day life, communication barriers are broken as well as messages aren't received. So it is so English is hard.
Yeah.
And Because people tell me like, oh, Spanish is easy, French is easy, German, Latin, all that stuff is easy. I remember, not to throw back to singing, but like I remember I sang a couple Latin songs when I was in high school choir, man. And I tell you, like that's something that I don't think I could learn. I would have, because Domine,
Yeah.
like all that type of stuff. Man, I'm telling you, it's just something that if you really trying to learn a different language, you have to really like be on it every single day. And even for us Americans growing up K through 12 as well as college and beyond, taking English courses, there's still some things that you don't know. Because I mean, you can ask some people nowadays, what's a predicate? What's a verb? What's an adjective? Show me this sentence and what's all that. Because I'm going to tell you, there's some things Big Bud don't know. Don't ask me.
Making me sweat. Making me sweat. Don't ask me. Don't ask me no question. Let me look up.
But I'll tell you one thing. What comes across my mind all the time. Conjunction, junction, what's your function?
Yes, sir.
Making up words and phrases and clauses.
How do you remember that?
Because man, that's one thing. Spring Creek Beavers. Shout out to Spring Creek.
Oh, dude.
Well, I tell you, I remember watching that.
As your body grows bigger,
your mind must flower.
It's great to learn,
'cause knowledge is power.
It's Schoolhouse Rocky, the chip off the block of your favorite schoolhouse, Schoolhouse Rock. You've been waiting for Conjunction Junction.
Conjunction junction, what's your function?
Hooking up words and phrases and clauses.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Yeah.
Bill.
Yes,
Boy,
sir.
Bill was the shit. That was the shit.
Bill still is the shit.
Man, look. Forget watching bench warmers. Let's put on Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Sir.
Boy, that was the stuff back in the day.
I'm just a Bill sitting on Capitol Hill. Oh, yeah.
I'm just a Bill
There you
sitting
go.
on Capitol Hill. Don't know if I go to the Senate or the Congress. Don't even know. that was the things, man. The Great American Melting Pot, man. Like Schoolhouse of Rock. Like nowadays, you know, the kids growing up, they don't know anything about that.
Nope.
They don't. There's too much of iPhones, MacBooks, TikTok.
Yeah. Well, right now, in this age we're living in, it's the easiest it's ever been to get to somebody.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking, there are villages in Africa that they are now taking solar panels to so that they can run their water through town. And that produces more electricity so that they can have light poles and lights and safety nets from anything they want. And so they're starting to build civilizations in places they've never done before. And they're starting to give them phones so that they can request and they can talk. And people in third world countries are now more, I would say less. Third world countries now are less poor now than they used to be because the poverty line's coming up as that top line goes higher as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still sad that we have that bottom line, but it's so easy to reach people nowadays. But we're still not reaching them the way we used to.
Oh,
Radio still reaches 93% of all Americans.
right.
And even in our younger people, like what this is, it's still radio. And you know what I'm saying? But it's so easy to reach people, yet we're not using the simple methods. Them things, we still remember them now.
Right. I'm telling you.
I just saw it a couple times when I was a kid.
And that's all it took.
Yeah.
That's all it took, you know. Man, it's just like how you mentioned about radio. Like there's so many times where you can ask friends our age and a little bit younger, like, oh, what do you listen to? It's usually always Apple or Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
When I was working at Channel Control, there were kids that were, I say kids, but they were grown adults that were like probably, because I was like 22, 23 at the time. There were people working there that were in their mid-20s, late 20s, listening to Pandora. And I was like, you're still rocking Pandora? I ain't heard anybody listen to Pandora since 8th grade.
Right.
That was when everybody was on Drake. That Mr. Loverboy.
Oh, man.
Everybody was on Drake. And then they're talking about their useless. And then they talked about, like, some of them people made me just think about, like, how far we have come. Because they were talking about, oh, MySpace, and all they ever use for social media is just Facebook. And I'm just like, what? Like, nah.
That's our main platform.
Yeah.
Facebook for the group. I'm not kidding. Like 3,000 followers on Facebook.
Come on.
And it resets because people leave, people come back, spam accounts get deleted and stuff.
Right.
And so that's always updating us. And it's somehow Facebook is still our #1 platform.
Hey,
We have TikTok, we have an Instagram.
Right.
I think we have Snapchat group chat.
Right.
Just us. But the outreach right now is so crazy, and it's not being used for good. And that's kind of sad, because a good message, the right message, regardless of what you think it is, something positive, nonetheless, could be pushed out so fast, so easy, and spread so quickly. But instead, they'd rather the story. They'd rather something that has drama, something that people are going to bite into. Because it's sad to say that most people are the same way the media is.
Oh, yeah.
All they want to hear is something that gets them upset or gets them fired up or
Right.
gets them going, you know? They don't want to hear everything was cool today. Like, they don't want to hear...
Right, they don't want that easy going
Yeah.
day. They don't want to hear about the whole sunshine and everything.
Yeah,
They don't
exactly.
want to hear all that good stuff. They want to hear all the nitty gritty, just outright bad.
Right.
And I don't want to hear all that. Like, you know, every day that you go through life, there's going to be some BS that gets thrown in your face, but you got to continue to persevere. I tell people all the time, perseverance is key, as well as moderation and so many other things. But you have to continue to strive and thrive for that greatness. Whatever that goal is, you got to continue to be like Peter Cottontail and hop down your trail, because you see the golden carrot that you want to eat. They're going to say, what the hell he talking about? They like, half of them probably don't know what Peter Cottontail is.
Yeah.
Peter Cottontail, that's the man. He up in the up and down in the farmer's garden,
Yes, sir.
stealing all the cabbage and the lettuce and getting them all mad.
Yeah.
But the whole point is, you just in life, you can't let just little simple things get you down. You know, like we just had this the shooting up in Buffalo, New York. We just had those 21 people die up in Uvalde, Texas. I wanted to get it right.
Yeah.
Well, there's just, and that's not the only things that are going on in the world. Like, you know, those are just major things that have hit the media, because trust me, there was probably 6 to 12 other big major events that happened on those days, but those were just the two that, like in journalism, they say, if it bleeds, it leads.
Yep,
And
exactly.
if it bleeds, it leads.
And I tell you what, and this is a stat, you can look this up right now, and I'm going to be at least 2 to 3% off, or I'm going to be pretty close. Do you know what the #1 leading causes of gun deaths is in America?
The #1 leading
#1, not leading causes of death, #1 leading causes of gun deaths alone. There are 33,000 gun deaths per year, on average.
Man, I couldn't tell you.
66% of gun deaths are suicide. Yep. Only, I think they said 4 to 12%, somewhere in that ballpark, between only 4 and 12%. So less than 11. So you took 33,000, cut that to only 11,000. 11,000 people on average a year that are killed are actual mass or gun or gang related.
Right.
Then there's a stat for gang related, and that mass shooting number goes even lower. And so, why aren't we blowing up suicide? Why is suicide awareness even bigger? You talk about mental health. I actually watched that episode earlier this morning, and you put the suicide prevention hotline on the end, and we have walks, and we have TED Talks, and we have a hotline, and we have all these different things. And I don't feel like people are outreaching enough. You know, the push-up challenge for veterans and for police officers and first responders. I think it's a wonderful challenge and stuff like that. But I personally know 3 veterans right now who have literally looked me in my eye and told me, Nick, we don't get any help from the VA. Not in Mississippi. We don't. And so I hate that the media is going to take these children that have just been killed. And have you watched the boy in Buffalo? I won't say his name because he doesn't deserve any clout.
Right.
The boy in Buffalo that was 18, and the boy that was 18 in Valde too as well. He streamed it on Twitch, and people screen recorded it before it got deleted, and I've seen it. And it was racially motivated. He wrote a 180-page manifesto on why. Most of it was copy and pasted from somebody else's, but the first part and the very last part were all written by him, typed in. Mm-hmm. And as soon as he gets out of the car, the first person he shoots was a white lady. The youngest of all the victims was 32 years old, 34, 32 years old, white lady. She had kids and whatnot. And then predominantly of the rest were either black or white and black mixed. And then he shot another white man. And then he looked down on the ground, and there was a white man that said, "Please don't." And he stopped. He said, "Oh, sorry." I guess I thought what was going on. And they kept walking. And it just made me sick to my stomach. And I think I was sitting there, I've been so upset the last 2 weeks about this. And then it hit me. I was like, oh my gosh, that's what they want. Mm-hmm. That's what they want. That's the only reason that the media will put stuff like that out there and let stuff like that get recorded is because they want you to be up in arms. That way, whatever news outlet lets you see this or lets you hear about this, you'll be behind them on the next story. On the next story, you're in full force behind them. I think CNN should post more about this. We need to get justice for this, blah, 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 blah. But they're still not talking about the other 66%, the other 22,000 people who are killing themselves every year with the gun. Not counting the people who are doing it by jumping, pills, car accidents, because not all car accidents are accidents.
Right.
And I got some stories of my firefighter buddy, Chris McKenzie. And, dude, it's rough. Man, I can give an analogy, but it gets dark, and I don't want to go there.
Man, I could only imagine, bro, because like y'all know, Big Buck knows everybody. There's a lot of people I know, and I had a good friend of mine named Willckelvin.
Oh yeah, Big Will.
No, I don't think he ever met this Will.
Which Will? One with the Park Lane, or
no. This guy's from Spring Creek area, back in Kentwood. If you would have met this guy, I don't know, but he's a great guy. One of my best friends, Dawson Blaylock, childhood friend, lived right up the street from me on the Dollar Road, and I remember just times of us playing as kids. You know, it was his uncle. His uncle Will would always just like, you know how uncles are, beating up on little nephews and stuff, just playing around. And sure enough, no one ever knew that Will was just battling just some mental health issues, you know. And I was thinking about that, how you just come up with them stats, you know, just like, man, like you just never know what people are going through, and you talking about how there's so many people that's dying just because of suicide. And I did put that number on that mental health awareness podcast just because, you know, people need to know that number, as well as people need to understand that mental health awareness, it just isn't for the month. It should be year round. It should be year round. Like really everything that anyone's going through, it should always be year round, because like gun control violence, the push up for firefighters, our first responders, all of that should be acknowledged like year round, just because like these things happen on a day-to-day basis that no one I guess you would say that everyone kind of turns a blind eye to. If it's not somebody dying just that day, they just don't care.
Exactly.
And not saying that they don't care, it's just that they don't have any sympathy for it, but it's just like not a major issue for them to think about. Because I tell people all the time, you know, a lot of people, they just may do just the Lord's Prayer or whatnot, but I always try to pray for my friends and my foes, bros and the hoes. No, but all joking aside, I try to pray for my friends and my foes, everybody, wherever they go and where they go to and fro, you know, on the highways and byways, you know, just to get them safe, because, you know, there's so many people in the world today, bro, and like as many deaths that go on, there's many births going on at the same time, and vice versa, you know. So each death, there's another birth. And I'm just thinking, just like, man, it's crazy, because you hear about the Uvalde, Texas shooting, you heard about the Buffalo, New York shooting. I mean, there was another shooting, a mass shooting on that subway with I can't that dude's name, and Caleb Bird from Southwest. that is the same subway that he takes to work every day, he said. That's what I found out from Noah. Noah had talked to him, and he was like, that's the same subway that I ride every day to work.
That's crazy,
and,
man.
you know, like, you just going through normal day life, and just things like that happen. And so, you know, you always gotta watch yourself and watch your surroundings.
Yeah.
But you should always watch what you say to people, because you don't know what people are going through.
Exactly.
You don't know what people are going through. You don't there's one thing about making a joke, but you got to make sure that message is received as a joke.
Exactly.
Because you don't know what people are going through. They could really hurt themselves as well as hurt others. And you don't know if they have that person to lean on, to confide in, because sometimes they just snap. I can't imagine like what was going through that guy, that 18-year-old boy's mind in Uvalde, Texas, to want to kill those many people.
Especially kids.
Kids, you know. I mean,
had nothing to do with him.
Had nothing to do with him. That's just crazy.
It is.
It just
it gets under your skin. You see what I'm saying?
It gets under your skin because there's so many, like, because when I first seen it, I had to figure out where it was in Texas, because I have a nephew and some family in Texas.
Branson and a couple friends of mine and some family are over there in Texas.
So I'm like, okay, where was this at? And I was like, how far is this from the Fort Worth area? And I was just like, all right, well, this is nowhere near there, but still just like praying for all these people, because now these parents and aunts and uncles won't get to see those children again because of whatever his actual motive was, which there is any just motive for any of that.
Not that.
There's no. I mean, you can blame it on mental health. You can blame it on lack of parenting. I don't know.
A lot of people are jumping on the police about it.
Yeah.
Because the man who actually killed him, I saw this on Facebook this morning. I'm not going to say this 100% validity to this.
Right, by like
Just,
Facebook, Instagram news.
Just what through the grapevine, you know, is the man who killed him was a Border Patrol off-duty officer, and he was down the street at the barbershop that's really close to the place. His wife is a 4th grade teacher. She texted and called him. He goes down there, grabs the shotgun out of the barbershop or out of his truck, heads to the school. Police are already sitting out front because they've had the lockdown, the silent alarm lockdown going on. They just haven't entered the school because they don't know where he's at. Homeboy walks in there by himself or with a shotgun, walks to his wife's classroom, opens the door, brings them all out, escorts them out the front, walks back in. Homeboy had just come out of the classroom where he killed them kids, and he shoots him.
Man.
Yeah, I know. And the police, they're grilling the police right now because I don't know the validity of that.
Right.
I'm just saying that is what the story said.
Right, that's what the story said.
And so, dude, it's put me on so bad because if we hadn't said it already, I work at the mall here in Hattiesburg. And even on a slow day, when there's nobody in there, there are still almost 500 plus workers there at all time.
Oh, yeah.
And on top of that, there's, even if it's just trickling people in, it's still a couple hundred people at a time.
Oh, yeah.
If not 1,000 at any time. So there's over 1,000 people at that mall at any given time.
100%.
Between opening and close.
Oh, yeah.
And so at any moment, if a worker, if an employee, or if a worker, like an employee or a customer, one of the managers, if anyone just snapped, there's no way in the world I could get to every store, get them out their back door or out the front, because some of them don't have back doors. They only have front doors where they lock the gate. There's no way in the world I can get every one of them out. And they won't let us be armed. I'm going to tell you right now, just because Allied Universal's listening to this, if something happens, Big Nick got it covered. Okay? I won't incriminate myself. We're going to be all at the food court in the office. If you was in sight of me in that office, that is it, Chief. You better be wearing body armor. I'm telling you now. I've been practicing. Yeah.
Got you locked on
no,
sight.
Dude, that's it. But, like, it just scares me that can happen at any time.
Yo, man, I tell you, it can happen anytime.
Yeah, and not just that way. I know we're talking about shoes, but not just that way. Car accidents.
Oh,
you know, I know I'm a bigger man, and I worry about my health, and I was doing really good, and then when I moved here, it's on the decline, but these last few weeks I've been doing really good. I've been cutting a lot of stuff out. I've been starting with my diet first, and then easing into a schedule where I can work out. And so heart disease and heart failure kills that's the number one killer in the world.
Right.
It kills more people per year. And then diabetes and, of course, different diseases and viruses come up close next to that. And then, of course, gun violence and actual just human violence in general
right.
is below that. And so the one that seems most unfair to us is the one where a human kills another human. And because we're all like books, some of us are poems. It's so sweet, but it's so short.
Mm-hmm.
And some of us are short stories. We don't live very long, and we sometimes have a good story. And then normal books are light novels, decent amount of years on it, and a lot of information that can be taken in one day. And then some of us are like encyclopedias or big, like the Bible, big books, full of information, full of philosophy, full of things, a nice, long, healthy life. And we all want to be like that encyclopedia.
Right.
And I heard this on TikTok. Steve-O said this on Hot Ones. So if Steve-O ever watches this, shout out. He said, it's human nature to want to survive. But the only thing guaranteed to happen to us as humans is we won't. And that was just so simple, yet so prophetic to me.
Oh yeah, because what was it? Survival of the fittest. And the strong shall survive. And I mean, we all trying to get somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
We all trying to make it through the day, but there's so many obstacles in our path sometimes, and it gets hard for us to do that. But that's correct, man.
Mm-hmm. I feel you. You want to come full circle real quick?
We can.
You asked me how I was doing, so we're gonna come on full circle. We talked about everything that's been happening, recently and whatnot. And so, that first year being here in Hattiesburg, mental state was on the up and up because I was at the low. I was at the lightest I'd ever been, the strongest I'd ever been. I was working out with Kyle every day, sometimes 2 times a day, good strict diet.
Mm-hmm.
Jaden's daddy passes away.
Oh.
In July, and I left the last, like on the 31st or 30th. I left August 1st to come to Hattiesburg. Yeah. And so it was a horrible accident. It was an explosion at his work. It wasn't his fault. And OSHA got involved, a lot of stuff going on. And still going on. And so I leave. My girlfriend at the time, distraught. I'm distraught. The whole family is just in shambles emotionally. They're holding good together as far as staying together. Right. They came together really quickly. There was a lot of like actual blood and non-related family there for them.
Right.
And seeing that was very happy and was good. It was good to see them there for each other.
Right.
Especially in this time because Mark was very loved, very well versed with his hands, hard-working man. The biggest forearms I've ever seen on a man in my life. Looked like a gorilla. And big old white gorilla. I mean, he was super short. He was real short, man. Big old arms.
Short but stout.
Yeah.
Short but stout.
And so he passes away, and I move over here, and I just get overwhelmed with all this COVID school stuff. Because I thought it could be a music education major. They told us there's no way you could do it online because we have recitals. We have to practice in person. Our lessons have to be in person. I'm a percussion student. All my instruments that I get to use are at the school.
Right.
I have to go to the school. And so even during COVID, I'm still going back and forth to school and trying to find a job and trying to work. My future pa-in-law just passed away. The whole family's hurt. She needs me there for her. And all that stuff starts happening, and I'm not working out anymore. I put on like 15 pounds in like 3 weeks. It was rough. And I was at 450 when I started working out. I had gotten all the way down to like 375. It just, my shoulders were getting yoked. I was getting big. I was being healthy. I could feel my heart rate coming down.
Right.
Like resting heart rate, like as I'm sitting, I could feel it getting slower and getting more controlled. And so I was really healthy and just everything took a turn for the worst. And I was like, dude, you know what? I'm just gonna go find me a job. Well, I'm gonna go work with Matt and my dad. They logging.
Right.
Making a couple $100 a day. I'm gonna work with them. I'll work hard for the rest of my life. And I don't know what told me not to, but I had a full-on mental breakdown in my room. I didn't go to work. I didn't go to school. I laid in bed all day, just trying to figure out what I could do. And I didn't get my life right because the stuff that I was doing, I had stopped doing. I had stopped seeing the friends that I was hanging out with. Trying to get my stuff back on track. And so I started listening to Post Malone.
Old Post.
Oh, I love old Post Malone, baby. Dude.
Bud Light and cigarettes. They say that's what he smell like.
Feeling Whitney.
Feeling Whitney. Oh, man.
Oh, I literally sat there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. I was in my bed holding my pillow with my girlfriend on the phone, my fiancé on the phone. And that song's in the background. She's like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "I had this song on repeat for like 6 hours." And I knew every word to it, and I was just sitting there just singing it, and just tears. And I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it. And not long after that, I got the job security at the mall. And I don't know what pulled me out of the funk, but I was in that funk for the rest of that school year. It was, and no, I haven't, like, you know, this is the first time we've sat here and talk. I've seen you a couple times.
Right, at the mall, but
Right.
this is the first time that we've talked like this in a good long time.
Yeah, for real. And I rarely got to see David. I don't get to see Alex. I didn't get to see John. Nashunda moved up there. I didn't get to see any of the people that I knew.
Right.
I'm living with Daniel Little, and now his little brother's with us. And, you know, I can talk to Daniel, but I don't know. It's just different. Just seeing different people would help.
Right.
You know?
Because at Southwest, if y'all don't know about Southwest Mississippi as well as South Wheezy, where it was easy, Southwest was like a family. Like, I'm from Kentwood, he from Pike County, you know, McNasty, all of it, you know. We just, Osaka, Magnolia, Kentwood, Louisiana. I mean, there's people from Mandeville, Louisiana, Ponchatoula, all coming to Southwest just to get a little,
even up north too.
Right, up north, everywhere coming to Southwest to get an associate's degree, whatever it might have been. And it was more of a family.
Yeah.
Southwest was like a family because it's such a small campus. You were walking, for the most part, everybody kind of stayed on campus or they kind of stayed somewhere in Summit, you know. So you saw those people every single day. And if you didn't see them every day, just a class, in the lunchroom, or you probably was just hanging out, especially during summertime, going to a river or just going to a ball game. Yeah. So you became intertwined with those people in their lives. And then, like you said, to come up here and for all of that to happen.
And it was gone.
And it was gone because everybody that was in your close, tight circle.
I'm glad you get it. I'm glad you get it.
Yeah.
That's what happened. I had to make all new friends at this university. And so William Carey's University now, and all of these freshmen and juniors and seniors and stuff like that I met, I felt like the old man to these young cats coming in.
Oh, man.
But I felt like I didn't know nothing compared to the sophomores, the juniors and seniors. But I was like a super sophomore when I moved because I did 3 years at Southwest. I got a general and a music degree from there. So I have 2 associates from there. And so when I got to William Carey, I did really good with my music theory. And that was probably the only thing that went good for me, was I passed the theory without having to redo anything. And I met some of these old cats, but because it's on trimester schedules, they were in their last try of classes. So I only got them for 1 trimester. So the older people I could confide in and talk to are now actually band directors now. I'm going to work for one of them in July. Yeah,
Heck yeah, man.
I'm going to go do her. It's called U-Tech. If you tech for a band camp or tech for a drum line or a group in the marching band, I'm going to be teching a drum line mostly, and then I'm also going to be teching for low brass and some woodwind stuff that I've been practicing. So, but yeah, to come back to that, funk lasted the whole year because I had spent 3 years, and I still talk to a lot of those people on a daily basis or a weekly basis.
Right.
And loved them dearly. And I met a lot of friends in and outside of Southwest. Some people didn't even go to Southwest. They just hung with us because we was a crew. We was like, I'm going to hang with these people. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I ain't got nobody else hanging out with, but these some cool cats.
Yeah, I get that South Wheezy going on. Yes, sir. And so we're just chilling, you know, and we're hanging out. And it was so good to be with people. And it really taught me how fleeting life can be.
Oh, man.
And it's just, some people, and like this is in Medea too, but some people are like the leaves on a tree. They're here and they're gone.
Right.
And then the new ones will be back next season.
Right.
And some are like the branches. They're there for a little while, but eventually they're going to break off. Some of them are like the limbs that stem off of the trunk. They're more sturdy, but eventually they too will leave. And some of them are like the trunk. They're going to be there for a very long time, but eventually someday they might get cut down. And then you have friends like the roots. No matter what you try to do, a remnant of them roots will be left.
Right.
And you're only going to have like 3 or 4 of those friends in your lifetime.
On God.
Dude,
on God.
And so I have a couple of those friends. And I know a lot of people, just like you, me. We both know a lot of people,
We-
especially faces. Like sometimes I forget their name. I'm like, I know you.
Right.
Like I don't know your name, but I know you.
But the thing is, they always know us.
Yes,
They
I
know,
hate that.
they
Hey,
know
Big
us for
Nick,
sure.
And I'm like, no, don't do it. I don't know your name.
I be like, they're like, oh man, I met you at this party or this Park Lane
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
They're like,
Using
yeah,
the
that was-
stage band show.
They was
yes, I was.
yeah, but that was like 3 years ago, and like
Uh-huh.
there's been so much to go on. And 3, 4, 5 years ago, like last time I seen you, I didn't have a beard.
Same.
I didn't have this big thick beard. I changed cars.
Yeah.
I've changed living situations,
Yeah.
jobs, everything. They're like, huh? I was like, as well as like you didn't look the same. You had a different girlfriend, all types of stuff.
To the T.
But you are 100% correct, man.
Yeah.
And I can only I can understand that because man, you know, like I said, at Southwest, we're all like a family, man. I remember when my talk about Memorial Day and just dealing with loss, you know, and just new change and talking about friends, man. I remember when I turned, I was telling my friend Isaac Hoffman this earlier this week. He came back into town and he was like, man, Buck, the 20s are weird. And I was like, yeah, they are, man. I said, but it's a growing process. Yeah, that's one of the parts of growing. You still finding yourself. Man, I remember when it was my 20th birthday. My 20th birthday, May 20th, just was getting ready to be finishing up at Southwest. And so I'm like, all right, cool. Well, at Sunday, next day, May 21st, I lost a good friend, John Boy Moore, Ashley Monroe. I tell you, that was crazy to me because something came across my mind thinking like, I should follow that ambulance. And but I didn't. I didn't go. I ended up going to the Kentwood Library, telling people happy birthday on Facebook. Then I ended up going to BC's house. And then when I got that distraught news, I just had to go. And the first place I went was to my grandmother's house, where my mom was. Because my mom was checking in on my grandma, because my grandma was sick at the time. And then surely later, probably about June or July, I think of that year, if I'm correct, my grandma passed away. And so I'm like, well, now I done lost 3 people in probably less than a little bit about 3-4 months.
Yeah.
You know, 3 people that I was really close with. And then to move up here to Hattiesburg, you know, I surpassed all that trauma as well as all that difficulty. I kept on pushing forward. I got my degree and everything. You know, that was real hard for me to deal with while I was going to Southwest. Yeah. But then coming up here to Hattiesburg, like you said, not really. You still, cause like I didn't really, when I wanted to come up to Hattiesburg, I didn't know anybody here. I remember coming on a tour and I seen John Shannon and Bryce Boyd. I was like, what?
I did 2 cats to see right there.
Right. I was like, what are they doing here? And sure enough, I introduced them to Mama Buck. And sure enough, and Mama was like, who are those? I said, who are those? She was like, who are those guys? I was like, oh, they went to Southwest with me. And they were like, oh, she's like, oh, well, you'll have somebody up here. I said, yeah, we'll have some I'll have some friends.
And
and
they
stuff.
both left.
Yeah.
Then they both left.
But they stayed here for a little while. I
I
think
think John's in and out, especially.
Yeah, John's in and out.
Last time I saw Bryce, he was in West Virginia, something like that.
Right. But I was just like, then Kelly Kaiser was up here,
Yep.
David, Caleb Bird, Blade was in and out of here every now and then. You know, he'd be traveling from Summit to Hattiesburg.
Oh, that crew was.
Man, we had us a little crew up here, but then just things started fickling and trickling away. You know, and that's how it happens. You know, that whole time I was just like between the losing John Boy and my grandmother and Ashley, and then coming up here, I was just like, man, life is like a movie. Mm-hmm. You know, like there's the good, the bad, and there's that middle. You know, where everything's going good, and then there's that just
highs and lows.
Yeah, it's the highs and lows all the time,
yeah.
man. And I'm just like, I remember how you're talking about, you know, just lost in your fiance's family and how you were just down and out. You're just trying to figure out how to do your best that you could for her, comfort her, as well as get your sanity in your physical emotions, right, with school and work, trying to provide for yourself and better yourself. Man, I remember when I had a apartment, I had a roommate at my apartment, and man, he didn't do it the right way. And I ain't gonna say no names. If you know who I'm talking about, you know who I'm talking about. But he didn't do it the right way of leaving, and he didn't want to tell the apartment complex that he was leaving, didn't want to give them the 30-day notice and stuff like that. And at this time, this was like 2020. Yeah, this is like 2020, and back in 2019, I had just lost my car. At the end of 19, I lost my car and my job because I was like 5 minutes right before I was getting off work. I got in an accident. The lady had T-boned me, and so I was out of a car and a job for 8 months. And so that was that time in my life. David, Noah, and Christian, Blade, as well as Bird, they were all just picking Big Buck up all over Hattiesburg just to take him anywhere and everywhere he needed to go. Grocery shopping, barber shop, home back to Macomb so I can get a ride to Kentwood, etc. You know, there was just so many things that was going on in my life, and I was just like, man, I mean, is it gonna get better? How can it get better?
Yeah.
Like I said, the roommate, that was just really bad because, like I said, he didn't leave the best way, and then he was talking about how he couldn't pay for bills, couldn't pay for that, and I was just like, man, I'm asking my mom for money, and I hated the fact that I'm asking my mom for money because the fact, like, I'm grown enough, I should have money saved up, but at the same time, life happens.
Exactly.
Life happens. And so now, I'll never forget the night, I can't tell you the date when it was, but sure enough, I was, how you're talking about, you were listening to Phil and Whitney, man, I'm telling you, that night that so much BS, cops were called over here and everything, David came, and we just really just sat down and literally I just bawled my eyes out, just was wondering like how I'm gonna do it, how am I gonna do it. And I tell you, one song that I really do cherish that my grandma would always play in the car, Never Would Have Made It by old Marvin Sapp. Okay. Never would have made it without you. I would have lost it all. I tell you.
Ooh, I need to listen to that.
Yeah.
I know Marvin Sapp. I never heard that song before.
Man, you got to check it out, man.
Okay,
that's the song.
That'll
right
be
there.
in the Impala when I leave. That'll be playing in.
That is the song, man, because you
That's
know,
cool.
all throughout whatever you're going through in life, nothing happens without him knowing.
Right.
Nothing happens without him knowing, and without him, we can't make it.
Exactly.
Without him, we can't make it because a guy at my work the other day was telling me, he's like, man, if you'd have met me 5 years ago, you wouldn't have liked me because I was a hermit. I was mean and mad at everybody. But I was just like, but he said he found the Lord. And so I said, man, I tell you, like, without him, there's nothing, you know. And that's really it, you guys, you know, to bring it full circle, you know, whatever you're going through in life, it's hard. It ain't gonna be easy. If it was easy, everybody would do it. But it's tough. You have to bite the bullet sometimes, you know, and you have to suck it up, Buttercup, and you just have to keep on persevering, striving and thriving for greatness. Believe, achieve, so that you may succeed, whatever it is that you want to do. You know, but without Jesus, I mean, you can't do it. You know, because Jesus is gonna put those good friends in your circle, man. It don't matter how long it's been since you sat down and talked to him, how long it's been since you've seen him, but Jesus is going to put you in that friend group and amongst those friends for a reason, so that you can confide in somebody that you can talk to, that you can not just have a good time or a drink or a cookout with, but somebody that you can lean on. So they can lean on you or you can lean on them, because sometimes the friendship just ain't all about you. Friendship about them, because they gonna need something more than you gonna ever need something. So with that being said, Nick, is there anything else that you would like to say?
Oh man, we gotta do part 2, part 3, part 4.
Man, it's gonna be more for sure. It's gonna be more for sure.
I'm all for it.
Well,
I do have one or two things, and I'll be done.
Come on.
Good. In the other episode, you said something. You said it multiple times, almost to the point where it was laughable, but I still respect it.
That's funny.
You said, it ain't what you want to do, it's what you got to do.
Exactly.
And that literally, I sat up one day, and to get out of this funk, I said, you know what? I got to tie my shoelaces up. I'm going to keep on keeping on.
You got to.
And then eventually, raise at work. I got engaged. School's going great. Job offers. I started meeting up with friends again. Started talking to them. Started checking in on people. New car. Just all kinds of stuff started happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in this really, really, really deep low before I come up on this mountaintop we're on now. I'm about to ride this dude for a while. Okay? I'm not going to let nobody run up on my parade.
Hey, you can't.
Oh, dude. And so if I'll bring it back to your mental health thing. If there's anybody out there that is severely suffering, because some people like to play it off. They like to, oh, what was me and this and that, da 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 da. And as a Christian, you know, the only thing bad about me is my mouth. My mouth will get bad sometimes. That's because I used to cuss like a sailor when I was inadequate in my spiritual walk. But every now and then I still slip up and my old mouth starts getting me in trouble. But if I'd have just had somebody there for me, I'd have never even had a mental breakdown. Let alone there's people out there that don't have anyone for them for even longer periods of time.
Right.
And either it's a you problem, where you don't have the social skills and you don't have the self-esteem to go reach for someone, or it's a them problem. Maybe they have a problem with you because they're not your actual friends. And that's a big issue. That's a big hurt. That's a hard truth some of us have to face. And I had to face that because all my friends had goals and ambitions. I didn't push them away. I thought they pushed me away. What happened was life. Come full circle. Life goes on, whether you like it or not.
It's always will.
Always will and always will be.
The world we live in, it ain't flat.
Nope.
It ain't
flat. It ain't gonna fall off.
We ain't gonna fall off in this round, and it's gonna keep on spinning till the end of time.
Exactly. And so pick you about 3 or 4 people, and make sure they're the roots. Make sure they're there for the long haul. Make sure no matter how long your time in between, y'all can still sit there and talk for hours, because it's true love, it's true friendship, it's true bonds. And yeah, that'd be my lesson for the day. Well, make sure you pick some good ones. Because friends can pull you out of anything.
They can. They can pull you from the highs and lows. Because that night that I was just crying out here, man. Me and David, David was telling me about the Lord's the Lord is what were we talking about? We was talking about Job. Talking about Job. Helpful servant Job.
Yes, sir.
And I tell you, it's funny that David said that night to me, because there's a lot of people that always tell me about, like, oh, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, do that, and that was one of the first stories I would tell people all the time, like about God's helpful servant Job. You know, he was always. Job went above and beyond. He lost so much.
His whole family.
He lost his family, livestock, just
even his own health.
Yeah, he lost his own health, and it was probably he lived to probably be like 100 and something.
He lived a longer life. He lived a real long life.
Real long.
Because everything that was taken from him, he was blessed tenfold.
Indeed, man. Job went through it, but you know what? He kept loving the Lord. He kept loving the Lord. And you know what it was? The devil was just like, oh, I bet you that I can change one of your followers. Yep. Sure enough, he said, all right, you get to pick one. He said, how about your servant, your loyal servant Job? Mm-hmm. Sure enough, God let the devil test Job. And sure enough, through every test that he could at him, Job did not give up. Lost his wife, his kids, his livestock, his house, his friends, everything. But Job, he kept on living on. He kept persevering. He kept on pushing on. And that's all it's about. You got to continue to push on. You cannot give up no matter how hard it is. You're always going to do it for the King.
There you go. Hey, I like that.
For the King.
Yes, sir.
But y'all check out my friend Nick's music out on Spotify, Apple Music, For the King. We're going to have to come back with a part 2, 3, 4, and more.
Yes, sir.
Tell them, when is this new CD coming out?
So we have all 10 tracks laid down. We have one more studio day. We have built our own studio. We're working on our schedule, nobody else's. And so I think I have my Google Calendar here. Let's say between the end of June and August, I would love for it to be done. It's May 31st today. So we got these 2 weekends open in June. We could get it done then. And then we have July 30th. So yeah, there's 3 or 4 weekends, and then all of August Saturdays are open. So I mean, it can be done by August for sure.
Okay.
And we're definitely, I don't know if we're going to put it on Spotify or not, because we sell CDs, and the older generation don't work real well with online technology. But if
we still trying to get them. We still
oh
trying.
yeah, absolutely. And so we'll give them CDs, and if they don't like CDs, we're probably gonna do flash drives and put everything on a flash drive so they have all of our music.
Nice.
And then yeah, so I hope we still do online because it does reach a few people. I think when we first launched it, it was like 50 something people like a day, and of course it's dwindled down because we don't push it as much. It's been a couple years now, so but yeah, definitely we have something coming out pretty soon. We're on Facebook. TikTok has some cool stuff on it. Just a couple videos right now. TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. That's about it.
All for the king. Y'all
Yes, sir.
check them out. Well, it's been real. It's been fun, but the fun has just begun. It's been Big Buck from the 985 to the 601, son. Big Buck and Nick Klep.
Yes, sir. Coming to tell you what
We know.
Yes, sir.
Buck Bites, we out.